In professional sports, some players make mistakes that causes everything to come to a halt. It's been debated if everyone deserves a second chance, especially players in the NFL, such as Michael Vick, Revis, Plexico Burress, and hell, even Pac-Man Jones got a 15th chance. But the NFL player I believe that deserved the second chance the most is the man we all know and love, Chad Johnson. Now let's rewind all the way back to where it all started for Chad. He grew up with his grandmother in Liberty City, Miami. It was a tough neighborhood around the late 80s, early 90s. Chad never let it influence him. Like most NFL players, Chad was good on the field but struggled in the classroom. After graduating from Miami Beach Senior High School in 1997, Johnson attended Langston University but did not play football in 1997 due to his grades. Chad was an okay receiver, but he still had work to do. Chad transferred to Santa Monica College, a community college in Santa Monica, California. While at Santa Monica, he played with Steve Smith in 2000. He also met Coach Charles Collins, who would be a father figure that Chad never had, and made him into the player he was. Chad got his grades up, and after 3 years of junior college, he transferred to Oregon State University, after being aggressively recruited by Coach Dennis Erickson to play for the Oregon State Beavers, alongside future Bengals teammate TJ Houshmandzadeh. He also broke a school record for the longest touchdown reception with a 97-yard reception in a game against Stanford University. Chad will go on to play 12 games and catch 37 receptions for 806 yards and 8 touchdowns, and even add 2 rushing attempts for -5 yards. Later that year, he would enter the NFL draft.
Cincinnati has selected wide receiver from Oregon State University, Chad Johnson.
In Chad's rookie year, things didn't go as planned, getting a decent amount of playing time and only catching 28 passes for 329 yards and 1 touchdown. The very next year, Chad had a breakout season, catching 69 receptions for 1,166 yards and 5 touchdowns. The ball didn't start rolling until 2003 when they hired head coach Marvin Lewis. The Bengals will go on and take Carson Palmer with the #1 overall pick in the 2003 NFL Draft. Once Chad and Carson built their chemistry, it was the start of something special. Chad becoming one of the best, if not the best receiver of the mid-2000s, leading the AFC in receiving yards 3 consecutive years, in a group of great receivers such as Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Hines Ward, and Andre Johnson. He would remind you that you couldn't guard him. There wasn't nothing Chad couldn't do. Well, maybe except block Ray Lewis. And on April 20th, 2006, Chad signed an extension to his contract through 2011. While Chad was dominating secondaries, it was safe to say he made a name for himself, changing his last name from Johnson to Ocho Cinco. His ego started to get the best of him. He addressed how the media and the team treated him during the 2007 season, saying he was labeled as a selfish player and a cancer to the team. Chad was also referred to as a showboat with his wacky touchdown celebrations, but he was also a team player, and after 3 years of not making the playoffs, frustration started to set in.
Man, we got to win stuff like this, man. They ain't supposed to be close no more. That's the Bengals are old.
After a abysmal 2008 season and 2009, the Bengals were looking to get things back on track and were featured on the Hard Knocks, with Chad attracting the audience. The Bengals were about their business this season and they needed something to prove, and they did. Finishing first in the AFC North, it seemed the Bengals could make a good playoff run, but they ran into the Jets, a team to be reckoned with at the time, and had an early playoff exit once again. In one last attempt to make another playoff run, the Bengals tried to pair T.O. with Chad to finally get past the first round. As the duo looked good on paper, it didn't translate to the field, with T.O. playing with a broken hand and Chad playing with an ankle injury. The team went 4-12, and Chad would no longer be a Bengal after the season. After being scouted by Tom Brady, and not a lot of players can say that, and with also the support of Bill Belichick, in which he knew he could still perform at a high level, Bill straight up loved Chad Johnson. When Chad got acquired by the Patriots, he felt confident in having a great team, and all he had to do was do what he did best. But he quickly realized that the system wasn't for him, knowing that the Patriots have more versatile receivers and having focused on a predominantly #1 receiver since Randy Moss. Now we all know Chad played horrible with the Patriots. Chad tried holding back on being himself and didn't want to make the team look a certain way because they were the face of the NFL. And seeing how the Patriots never had a media attracted player like Chad before, he felt like he had to live in a box pretty much. After things didn't work out with the Patriots, he signed a 1-year contract with the Dolphins. And from the looks of Hard Knocks, Chad was himself again, and you could tell. While he was trying to get his career back on track, he made a mistake that would shock the football world.
We're following breaking news off the top at 11. Just one night after his Dolphins debut, wide receiver Chad Johnson has been arrested for allegedly striking his wife.
Evelyn told police a headbutt resulted with a laceration on her forehead. Evelyn was transported to a local hospital after being treated on the scene. Chad remains in the Broward County Jail.
Now personally, when I was younger, I would downplay the situation saying, well, at least he didn't use his fist. Domestic violence is a serious matter, and I'm old enough to understand that now. He was wrong, and pictures of his then wife were released, and the damage done didn't make it any better. On an episode of Hard Knocks, Coach Philbin sat down with Chad and broke the news that he would be cut. It was unfortunate for Chad, but it was also the right move for the Miami Dolphins. That incident would end Chad's career. When all said and done, Chad had a great career, racking up 766 receptions for 11,059 yards and 67 touchdowns. I believe he can make the Hall of Fame with those numbers. It's just a matter of when. Aside from one mistake he made, he's a great guy. He spreads love and serves as a positive role model for many of the younger generation.